Come on, you piece of junk. There we go. Crikey, it's always hard work, isn't it? Crikey. I think that's the only clean exclamation I know. How we doing? Anthony, Slip, how you doing? Turkish Rolex. You know, the thing with fake watches is, even if I was a billionaire, I'd still buy fake watches. Because a fake watch looks fucking hoofing for the first, 6 months. And then they start to look a bit shit. So you might as well just keep buying fake watches, right? For the first 6 months, a fake Tag Heuer when I was a teenager and everyone was buying them. I don't think they're as popular now. People are into fucking, what's the big ones now? Breitling and Rolex and shit. But when I was a lad, everyone had a fake Tag Heuer. And if you got a Tag Heuer for the first 6 months, it was mint. It looked totally indistinguishable from a real one. And it was only after a while when they started to, decompose on your wrist that they used to look shit. So just do the maths there. Just buy a new fake, 25 quid every 6 months, £50 a year. £50 a year, you'd have to live to be 140 for your real watch to become, net benefit. So even if I was Bill Gates, I'd still buy fake watches. Definitely. Also, if I was Bill Gates, I would go on a secret scheme to take over everybody's brains via the medium of nanobots. So that's something else I'd do. But in between taking over people's brains via the medium of nanobots, I would use fake watches 2 a year for the rest of my life. How's everyone doing then? All right. New fake of what? Watches we're talking about, James. When I were a lad, I am spinning dits about being a lad. Before I get into the meat like I always do. You guys come for the dits, don't you? You don't want to hear all serious. It's all work, right? It's not all going to be graft. I want to hear a bit of pointless drivel. James, fake watches. I was discussing how a fake watch looks indistinguishable from a real one for about 6 months. So if you tally that up, 50 quid a year, keep buying them, boom, shanker. No point in buying a good watch. In fact, in this day and age, what is the point in the old expensive ones? Sent it to Tag for service and they lost it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, that. Surely, if you sent it to them for service and they lost it, they therefore received it and you got your money back, didn't you? That's a bit of a piss take, if they didn't. Tag want to sort their lives out. Have I watched the documentary, The Planet of the Humans? I haven't, no. What's it about? Give me the brief version before I start talking business. Via the medium of text. Not the best thing, is it? I've finally got around to setting up a tip jar. I will set up a Discord. That's what I need to do, so you can actually talk to people. Because this text-based medium's a bit shit, isn't it? £5,000 compo, fucking right. There you go, right? £5,000 compo. That's 2 fake watches every year for the next 500. So, what you should do is just keep the fake watches and pocket the 4,000. Let's say you're going to live to be 90. Pocket the 4,300 quid. Booyah, winner. You sent a medical appeal in for the army and you're waiting to hear back. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. Actually, there's something I can do to fill some time in before I start talking about the meat. I recently did some good stuff on Quora, and maybe you would like to read it. So one of the questions people asked was, why do the Tories have a reputation for being dishonest at every turn? And being one of those... Bootneck, has no one bought you cans, or have you put your beer in a cup? What's that? Are you talking about my fundraiser thing? Let me have a look. No, people have bought me coffees. It says, look, $89. That's good, that, isn't it? Yeah, it should be on there. I don't know why it's vanished. Oh, there you go. It says 30. A massive 30 people have chipped into the can bank So well done to all of those marvellous people that have chipped into the can bank. Didn't do this for money, never have done. But if you want to buy me cans, you can do at ko-fi.com/bootneckbooze. Bit annoying how the website's called Ko-fi when I don't want coffee. I don't want coffee. I want harsh, metallic gin that melts your eyeballs. So not coffee. It should be called cansforus.com. So yeah, anyway, thanks to the 30 people. I didn't expect anything. Much appreciated. Rest assured, I won't waste it. I will drink every fucking penny. Kev, well done. Knob Creek, not a bad one. Whiskey Straight Al, my mate, he likes a Knob Creek, I'm sure. Again, I'm a bit of a savage with whiskey. Al's a connoisseur. I'm just jealous, and I like to watch his videos because drinking vicariously through others is extremely satisfying. If I've got a work night on and I can't get pissed, I love to drink vicariously through others. I sort of gaze doe-eyed at Al while he's drinking whiskey, like I can sort of pretend I'm doing it. So yeah, if you haven't drank vicariously through Al, I suggest doing it. It's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, I got in trouble last time I drank on the mic. Someone got super pissed off and said I'm leaving. I'm not listening to you anymore. You made a gulping sound. Sorry about that. Sargon is looking for a content creator. Sargon, as much as I admire him, and I think he probably got many of us started doing YouTube, certainly me, more than any one single person. But he is obsessed with, fair play to him, he's not like me who's always done steady employment. I haven't been on the dole since I was fucking 16. He does it for a living, and I've never intended to do this for a living. So Sargon is very, very, very convinced about, he's very concerned about swearing, harsh language. I mean, he never swears at all. His channel doesn't have enough humour for me, so I don't think he's interested in anything I do. I'm like foul-mouthed, tell a lot of jokes, most of them not acceptable to tell to children. I don't think I'm his cup of tea. Hang on, I'm getting too many questions tonight because I've gone off on a tangent. Was I based in Plymouth? Yes, PTSD I was. 4-2 Commando. I was there for about 4 years. I did a double draft in Plymouth. Went to Iraq twice when I was in Plymouth. 4-2 Commando. Spent a bit of time down the Citadel as well. Who else asked a question? Mild is my tipple. Yep, I like dark mild. Ruby mild as well by Rudgate Brewery. Spot on. Wales in Britain? Yes, definitely a good idea. You know what I find really ironic about that, Johnny Black? England do vote better than the rest of the UK. Don't know why. I'm assuming it's because of Thatcherism in a large way and also Celtic sort of nationalism. But England votes better than the rest of the UK. When I was one of my workmates in Alabama was Italian, and he used to always say to me, even the Italians say the English know how to vote. English are very centrist in all things. And I find it fascinating, maybe it's a result of our class society, that despite the fact the English vote better than the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, they still have the most woke establishment. Like the Scottish and the Irish and the Welsh rugby teams don't kneel for the fucking communists, but the English do. The English have the most sensible based voters out of the entire UK, but for some reason our establishment is more woke than any of them. So that's fucking annoying, because that's not what we voted for. We voted Conservative for 13 years and we've got milk toast, fucking wishy-washy, complete knobheads like Boris Bastard Johnson. Oi, someone else bought me a coffee. Sorry, coffee? Someone else pitched in to make my liver explode or be turned to liquid and be fired out of my arsehole like fizzy gravy. So thanks for that. Smile a day, you're a good lad. Or lady, I think, right? I lose track now. I've started to get enough followers where I forget individual people. I apologise. Yes, the English are afraid of being patriotic. Don't understand it. Dark Swan, I'll have to try that. I like a pint of mild. Philip, Matt, check out Michael Moore. Oh my God, Michael Moore is actually on our team on an issue, is he? I never thought I'd see the fucking day. Black Sheep, that's good, Al Bundy. I went to the Black Sheep Brewery with my missus. I don't want to show you the family photos though, because she'll get pissed off. Mark Devine, you're out in 4-2 Commando in Afghan. Yep, I deployed with 4-2 Commando twice to Iraq. Marvellous times. Storm Toss Sailor, sorry you got... Anyway, I'm going to keep talking shit. Let's do some stuff. First up, I'll read you this because I thought it was a good answer. Someone said, why do the Tories have the reputation for being dishonest at every turn? I said, the partisan slant of this question is irrelevant because all sane people know that this fact transcends borders and nations in a global fashion. All politicians have a reputation for dishonesty, cronyism, nepotism, hypocrisy and self-service. It doesn't matter whether you're in Dublin, Doncaster or Djibouti, the people will say the exact same thing of their elected officials, right? And then I quickly did it took me a while to do this piece, I quickly did a rundown of all of the ones that actually got convicted and prosecuted for fraud after the expenses scandal. And I was quite surprised to find when I really looked into it. I mean, it was my hunch, but I never sat down and compiled this. Of the Labour convicts, there were 6. David Shater, 18 months. Jim Devine, 16 months. Eric Eiley, 12 months. Dennis McShane, 6 months. Margaret Moran, 2-year treatment order. Obviously, the woman gets off with no jail time. Funny old thing. Elliot Morley, 16 months. Tory convicts, only 2. Lord Taylor, 12 months. Lord Hanningfield, 9 months. Ergo, if you have to pick which of our scumbag primary parties are the most corrupt, it's Labour, by a pretty long way. The SNP are catching on fast as well, and I obviously pointed out this story. Robin McAlpine says SNP HQ is utterly corrupt and has been for years. So yeah, Scotland is even worse than fucking England at this point. The SNP are just... they are neo-Marxists. I know a lot of people like to obfuscate the points. I use direct language, you guys know. Pretty much 90% of the people that I oppose are communists or neo-communists / Marxists. I don't like to get schnalled up in the linguistics of it all, the terminology. They're fucking communists. The SNP are commies. If you don't think they are, you haven't been paying attention. The SNP are commies. They fucking love identity politics. They are bonkers. They love a bit of trans activism. Every single checkbox espoused by the likes of AOC or Ash Sarkar, I'm literally a communist. The SNP are behind it 100%. 100%. Ash, I'm literally a communist Sarkar and Jimmy Cranky agree on 100% of things. So you tell me that they're not a fucking communist. And you're wrong. You are wrong. They might never want to use the word, but that's what they are. Yes, the money ain't for Warhammer. No, I've got enough Warhammer. I've still got about 3,000 points of Space Marines that I'll never get rid of, even if I haven't played for fucking years. Right. So there you go. Interesting, right? Lots of people sent to prison for fraud. 6 Labour, 2 Tory. Therefore, Labour are even worse. And even if they weren't, if it was 50-50, I'd still say Labour's worse, because at least posh, upper crust arseholes are expected to rob working class people like me. You don't expect it from these people who go on about how they're all down with the working classes, you know what I mean? It just seems a bit worse when Labour bends me over a park bench and fists me with a fucking gauntlet on. It just seems worse than when a posh bastard like David Cameron does it. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's the added ignominy of also being a hypocrite. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Boris or David Cameron or some posh Etonian fists me, then I expect it from them. But if some guy who runs in Middlesbrough, which has been Labour for fucking years, and he goes on and on about the Tories, and he goes on about he's a working class hero, and then the second he gets his nose in the trough, he's just as much of a fat scumbag as any of them, I think that's worse. I'd rather get diddled by the fucking effete, faraway elites than one of my own. It's worse, right? It's like if your dad fisted you, it'd be worse than a perfect stranger doing it to you. It's more of a betrayal, right? Getting diddled by the Pope, who you've never personally met, isn't as bad as getting diddled by your dad. So when Labour takes the piss, it's more of a betrayal to me. Yeah. Labour class traitors, yep, fucking shocking. What are my thoughts on music censorship? Same as everything else, don't agree with any of it. Don't agree with censoring Abu fucking Hamza. I certainly don't agree with censoring musicians or anybody else. Basically, you don't even need to ask me that, Shinra. I don't agree with censorship in any fucking form. Arthur Scargill was a full-blown communist. I read one volume of Charles Murray's book about Margaret Thatcher, and I did find that quite interesting. I didn't realise how much of a hardcore fucking nutcase Arthur Scargill was, but the short version is Arthur Scargill was basically the whole reason that she ended up winning that fucking debate, because Arthur Scargill was a lunatic and half the miners didn't support Arthur Scargill. He was a lot more militant than most of the miners. Anyway, this is what I wanted to talk about. The Donald. Your dad had hands like shovels. Yeah, alright, if your dad's got fingers like sausage rolls, go for the fucking priest. But typically, if both have similar sized digits, I'll opt for the wayward stranger priest, rather than the close relative. Anyway, that's enough crass sexual metaphors. Let's talk about Donald, right? Donald Trump's done printed a full statement, released it yesterday, about Mitch McConnell. And I want to read this out because I'm still very interested in American politics. I don't know if a lot of you guys are. And I've always despised Mitch McConnell. What a lot of people don't understand, right, especially if you're new to the channel, is that no part of me, I believe I'm a very centrist person and I'm an individual. I'm not a single issue voter. Like, on some things I'm right of centre, on some things I'm left of centre. On a great many things I'm left of centre. I'm socially liberal, like in the tradition of all great British conservative prime ministers. Same with Thatcher, same with Disraeli. I'm socially liberal, but I am a conservative. So it depends on the issue. When you're asking me about corporal punishment or something, if you're going to ask me if I think someone like Ian Huntley should still be breathing, I'm going to tell you, personally, I think we should regretfully put him down like a mad dog via the medium of lump hammer, because it's both cheap and satisfying. I would advocate having regular Big Brother-style phone-ins to decide which crazed, severely mentally defective killer we should do away with next, and the public could text in suggestions. Text Huntley to 8118, and you could text Brick to 8119. You know, we can choose every Friday. We could do a state-mandated execution. The public can vote on both the execution victim and the medium of doom, right? So we could text Big Spiky Dildo to 8113. I'd do it for fucking free. If I was the Prime Minister, I'd be happy to do it for free. Again, I'm not a hardcore right-winger in that I don't think we should be fucking stringing everyone up, because I honestly do think the death penalty is one of those conscientious issues where it shows the divide between the general public and the government. Because seriously, if the government put that to a vote, if we had a national referendum, should we have the death penalty for the absolute worst killers? Because again, I don't think you should be death penalty for everyone who ever commits murder. I don't. That's biblical, and I'm not a religious man. I think if there's any really strong motivator, love or money, typically, you know I love my crime fiction, life in prison is enough. And even if there's any doubt at all, life in prison's enough. But if you're talking about people who are severely mental deficient, like Ian Huntley, where they literally enjoy killing children, I think we should regretfully put those people down. You can't cure it. It's not something you can fix. So put them down. Not about vengeance, it's not. But it's regretfully putting them down like a rabid dog. There is no point in feeding and clothing people that are that mentally defective. So even on that, which is viewed as a conservative position, I'm pretty liberal. I think it should be a rare thing. I think it should be only when we're 100% certain, you know, anything at all that puts even a slight sliver of doubt, then life in prison. But when you've got fuckers like Huntley who are nailed to rights and they kill children, I think we should regretfully put them down. But on so many things, I'm left-leaning. Like I said, when it comes to almost everything with regards to what would be the purview of the left, social liberalism, I'm a left-wing person. Gay rights, vice in general, drugs, booze, alcohol, freedom of speech. Say what you fucking like. I'll stick up for Abu fucking Hamza, as I've said many times. Matthew, how you doing? There's another Bootius Neckius. So I don't believe that I'm particularly right-wing. I think I'm bounce around the issues, depends on the case in point. So what I'm trying to get at here is Mitch McConnell, and I'm sure some of my American Republican chums are going to fall out with me here, but to me, I've never liked Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is a typical creature of the swamp that's been there for far too long, and he's not really got that much in common with someone like Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell is a religious conservative. He's far too enmeshed in Washington, what they call a beltway Republican, right? He's obsessed with what happens in Washington, D.C., and he wants to consolidate power in those fucking lawmakers that fester on Capitol Hill. I don't like Mitch McConnell. I like socially liberal, free market libertarians, which is what fucking Donald Trump is. Morons call him far right, fascist, all this shit I've told you before. He is not. Donald Trump is not even particularly conservative in the American sense of the word. Basically, if I had to pick someone who Donald Trump is like, Donald Trump is like Margaret Thatcher. He's obsessed with the markets. He's obsessed with trade. He's a businessman. He's not far right. He's not a fascist. He's definitely not racist. All he cares about is fucking money, right? If you're a black billionaire, Kanye West, he was happy to fucking hug it out with Kanye West, wasn't he? Does he probably have contempt for really poor black people? Probably he does. Because he's a rich, greedy billionaire and he's obsessed with business. But he's not a racist. Because it depends on the individual characteristics of the black man in question. So, yeah, Donald Trump is not what they say of him. He just isn't. And it's demonstrable fact to anyone who's not a fucking idiot. As I've said many times before, if you think Donald Trump is a fascist, you don't know what a fascist is. You do not have the foggiest idea what a fascist is. Fascists don't like it when you call them names in fucking public. Fascists don't like it when judges constantly shoot their legislation down in flames. If Donald Trump was a fascist, he wouldn't have left fucking office, would he, you dopey twat? The people that say that have got the brains of a turkey twizzler. I had an argument with some fat bloke in a brewery in LA and he was saying, Donald Trump's a fascist. And I was like, listen, pulled his argument to bits, tore him a new arsehole. The man knew he couldn't win. So then his argument was, okay, he isn't a fascist, but he wants to be one. He said that to me with a straight face. He wants to be one. I was like, oh, okay then, so are we arguing for fucking thought crimes now, are we? Right? You know what he thinks. So you sit there, accept the fact that you're wrong and you don't know what you're talking about, and then you go, oh, yeah, but he wants to be a fascist. Well, fuck me. You want to suck your grandpa's cock. I can just come out with that if we're just going to start playing that game. Oh, really? He wants to be a fascist. You want to chew your fucking uncle off. Yeah. It's just as good an argument. It's a thought crime. Yeah. So he's not a fascist, and maybe he does want to be one. But unfortunately for you, we don't deal with what people might think in their deepest fucking recesses of their souls. So it's a shit argument. So yes, the Cheeto-coloured God Emperor, I quite like him. I'm not a Republican. I don't think I would have voted for another Republican. I don't like Ted Cruz. I don't like Mitch McConnell. But I would, if they were to run again in the current climate, I would vote for him. There we go. So I'm going to read you his full statement because I found it fascinating and I agree with every single fucking sentence. This is the full statement released by Donald Trump yesterday. The Republican Party can never again be respected or strong with political leaders, love the way he put that in quotation marks, like Senator Mitch fucking turtleneck McConnell, chinless wonder at its helm. McConnell's dedication to business as usual, status quo policies, together with his lack of political insight, wisdom, skill and personality, is just ripping the shit out of him, has rapidly driven him from majority leader to minority leader. And it will only get worse. Yes, it will. The Democrats and Chuck Schumer play McConnell like a fiddle. They've never had it so good, and they want to keep it that way. We know our America First agenda is a winner, not McConnell's Beltway First agenda. There we go, Beltway. That is basically the swamp. Or Biden's America Last. Fucking even worse. And is that not an absolute fact now? He loves China. He loves fucking India. He loves anyone who isn't America. In 2020, I received the most votes of any sitting president in history, almost 75 million. Every incumbent House Republican won for the first time in decades, and we flipped 15 seats, almost costing Nancy Pelosi her job. Republicans won majorities in at least 59 of the 98 partisan legislative chambers, and the Democrats failed to flip a single legislative chamber from red to blue. And in Mitch's Senate, over the last 2 election cycles, I single-handedly saved at least 12 Senate seats, more than 8 in 2020 cycle alone, and then came the Georgia disaster, where we should have won both US Senate seats, but McConnell's matched the Democrat offer of $2,000 stimulus checks with $600. That is probably the daftest thing I've ever known. Clangers dropped by political candidates. That's up there. Because bribery works. You can run on fiscal conservatism if you're running in a relatively secure race. But bribery works. And when you're in something as fucking conscientious, as contentious as this, to allow the Democrats to come out and just say, we're going to give all you poor people $2,000, and the Republicans to just instantly counteroffer with, yeah, well, we'll give you 600, is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. If Mitch McConnell took out a fucking, the Gruffalo and started reading that to the reporters, I would think that was only marginally more stupid during the press conference. It's a recipe for failure, and I can't believe anybody allowed him to just... Seriously, it was as close as that. The second they said, we'll give you $2,000 stimulus checks, he should have said, we'll give you $2,000 stimulus checks, but I'm not a fucking communist. And I love America, and I think Americans are more important than Chinese people. Yeah, American taxpayers should benefit from American taxes. That's why I'll give you $2,000. Ask that shithead why he wants to give you $2,000. So they could have won that argument. He said, how does that work? It became the Democrats' principal advertisement, and a big winner it was. McConnell then put himself, one of the most unpopular politicians in the US, into advertisements. Yes, he did. Turtle-necked, specky, scrawny, dwarf, fucking Nimrod. What was he thinking? Many Republicans in Georgia voted Democrat or just didn't vote because of their anguish at their inept governor, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, fucking Spurger. There's an apt name, isn't there? Raffensperger, because he is a spurg, that fucking guy. And the Republican Party for not doing its job on election integrity during the 2020 race. Hello, Kate, how are you doing? Don't worry, I was late as well. My only regret is that McConnell begged for my strongest support and endorsement before the great people of Kentucky in 2020, and I gave it to him. He went from being 1 point down to 20 points up and won. How quickly he forgets. Without my endorsement, McConnell would have lost and lost badly. Now his numbers are lower than ever before. He's destroying the Republican side of the Senate, and in doing so, seriously hurting our country. Likewise, he's got no credibility on China. Again, this is well known. Biden, McConnell... The only bipartisanship in America now is that fucking China owns all of them, right? They're all swamp creatures. And I'm reading you this because I'm trying to get this point across to all my Republican followers. The Republicans aren't your mates either. Trumpism is its own thing now. It's like Thatcherism. You want a free market, socially liberal, fiscally conservative, America first patriot. And that's not republicanism. That's not a lot of Republicans. Individual Republicans, yeah, but the party itself, I've got more time for them than the Democrats, for fuck's sake, because they just despise America. But republicanism, old school republicanism, is not going to get us anywhere either. You've got to have America. You've got to have working class people like patriotism. It's a point I keep making. You need to be socially liberal because nobody's down with getting fucking told what to do by a faceless stranger on a hill. socially liberal, fiscally conservative, patriotic, America first. That is a message I can get behind. And that's the coalition that will win you an election. That's the coalition, like I keep talking about, intersectionalism. That's the coalition that will win every argument. If you get something like fucking radical trans activists, they think they've got an intersectional umbrella, like they're going to stuff trans women alongside militant TERFs and devout Muslims all under the same umbrella. It's not going to happen. But we've got an intersectional group there. People who would vote for a less swampy, less religiously motivated Republican Party. You would get the centre-left. You would get the people who are TERFs. You'd get centre-left, socially liberal, libertarians, right-wings, well, and they're all a given. Centre-right, very far-right, nationalists. Everyone would get under that umbrella. I would. Socially liberal, centre-left, in so many ways. I'll get behind patriotic, no swamp, pro-working class, pro-America, libertarian, free market libertarians. Everyone can get under that umbrella. But not the fucking intersectionalism claptrap Abu Hamza's going to hug it out with a fucking trans activist. It's not going to happen. They can't win. They won't win any arguments. They won't win any elections. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, McConnell, as I said, no credibility on China because of his business holdings. Does nothing on this fucking economic and military threat. He's a dour, sullen, unsmiling political hack. I fucking love it, man. I love the way he talks. He does sound like me with slightly less swearing. And if Republican senators are going to stay with him, they will not win again. Exactly what I just said. And I haven't read it all the way through. I saved it for this. Spot on. He will never do what needs to be done or what is right from our country. Where necessary and appropriate, I will back primary rivals who espouse making America great again and our policy of America first. We want brilliant, strong, thoughtful and compassionate leadership. Yes, we do. And I want that for Britain as well. Britain first. Not the fucking political group that's apparently white nationalists. I mean, if they are, I haven't looked into them. But I haven't got any time for that argument. Like I said, I like patriotic, British, working class people. Don't care about your sexuality or your fucking gender or your colour or your religion. I like patriots. Centrist, conservative patriots, regardless of your immutable characteristics. That stuff is for children and communists, not fucking me. Prior to the pandemic, we produced the greatest economy and jobs numbers in the history of our country, and likewise our economic recovery after COVID was the best in the world. We cut taxes and regulations, rebuilt our military, took care of our vets, became energy independent, built the wall and stopped the massive inflow of illegals into our country. That is the shit that helps fucking working class people. All of that. Illegal immigrants fucks the working classes, the unskilled workers. Fucks them. Rebuilding the military. Loads of jobs for the working classes. It's all the working classes who go in the military. It's not fuckers with degrees from Harvard, right? Twats who go to Eton don't go in the military. Fuckers from council estates in Middlesbrough do. All of that shit is for the working classes. And it doesn't matter whether you're centre-left, centre-right, centrist, whatever the fuck you are, you should be able to get behind that message. Even if you're centre-left and you think that you're not a natural, what we would call a conservative, that's what you should be all about. Matty B, you were wrong, by the way. I looked into that copper who you said got his head stoved in with a fire extinguisher. Didn't happen. Spanned by the media, apparently it was a pepper spray. He got a whiff of it and he texted someone and said, oh yeah, I had a bit of a shit day. But nobody caved his fucking head in with a fire extinguisher. Why would the Blue Lives Matter types cave a copper's head in with a fire extinguisher? And plus, that doesn't ring true from a logical standpoint. It doesn't really make sense to go to such a level of brutality. Could possibly understand a shooting, but caving someone's fucking head in with a fire extinguisher is fucking hell. That's American History X style shit, right? Didn't happen. So yeah, it says and now illegals are pouring in, pipelines are being stopped, taxes are going up, and we're not going to be energy independent. Yeah. This is a big moment for our country, and we cannot let it pass by using third-rate leaders to dictate our future. There you go. Agree with everything he said. Coppers got injured because it was a fucking riot. But it wasn't, let's purposely murder policemen and cave the fucking heads in with fire extinguishers. Again, I'm not excusing the riot. But what I'm saying to you is, that was one riot. If you were to stack up casualties and property damage over the last 12 months, who's done the most damage? This is what I keep saying. It's not whataboutism. It's simple mathematics. It's doing the metrics, lining the data up. I'm a centrist. I didn't vote for Trump, and I'm only now starting to wave the flag for the man because the far left and the far right are very harmful. I reject extremism. But one side of that argument has got the bit between the teeth, and it's not the far right, it's the far left. In Britain, it's the far left. You don't get fucking hardcore right-wing neo-Nazis goose-stepping over the cenotaph. It doesn't happen because they haven't got broad public support. But millions of people support full-blown far-left extremists that burn flags, assault police officers, and fucking cause tens of millions of pounds worth of damage. That is not happening in England. It's just not. Demonstrable fact. Use whatever metrics you want to use. Assaulted police officers, property damage, murder, violence, anything you want to pick. Who's the most dangerous in the UK right now? Is it the far left or the far right? Who? What do the far right even do? Occasionally have a little fucking protest and talk shit? The far left have got the bit between their teeth and they are assaulting police, damaging property and fucking pulling down statues like it's going out of fashion. So don't tell me I should be worrying about the far right. If that was reversed and the far right were the ones putting fucking 90 coppers in hospital over a long weekend, then I'd be whinging about the far right. But one side has got the bit between the teeth at this moment, and it's the far left. The far right have been roundly rejected by the British for fucking decades. The BNP gets about 0.2% of the vote. Even our Conservatives are woke. If you think Boris Johnson's far right, you don't know what right wing is. I'll stop tarring everyone with labels when you guys stop doing it. Because you do it, don't you? Everyone's far right. Everyone's far right. Boris Johnson, woke fucking Boris. Apparently he's far right. Like, I'm sorry, but if you can do it, I can do it. None of the fucking current leadership in the UK are far right. None of them. But plenty of them are far left. That Zara Sultana and all these fucking lunatics who are espousing pulling down all the statues and fucking bulldozing any buildings or street names that they don't like. People are lunatics. If the right wing were doing it, I'd be just as outraged. If Nick Griffin rose to power and wanted to change all the street names to fucking Adolf Lane, yes, I'd be talking about it. I'd be outraged about it. But I'm a centrist, and only one side of the aisle has got the bit between the teeth. And it ain't fucking the right wing. It just isn't. Anyway. So there we go. That's what I want to talk about tonight. Fucking Donald. Quality, right? I basically agree with all of that. And it's not particularly conservative. If he turns his back on old school American Republican conservatism, you know, that religious Bible thumping shit, his message is going to continue. And if the Republicans have got any sense, that's the road they'll go down. They will come further to the centre, reject all of the fucking... Even the religious have chilled out a bit, haven't they, lately? The Baptist preacher types, now they're not fire and brimstone, all the cocksuckers have to go to hell. Now they're sort of more, you know what, live and let live. I'm very religious, but you aren't. Do what you like. But we can all come together under the umbrella of centrist, America first, patriotic, socially liberal, free market, libertarian / Thatcherism type thing. That's what the Republicans need to do if they want to win going forward. And they'll pull in people from all across the spectrum. All the TERFs, all the normal fucking left. They will get behind that message. The working classes are patriotic. The far left aren't. They hate Britain, they hate America. They're cool with pulling down statues, renaming streets and burning flags. But normal working class, the 99%, are fucking patriotic. Right, I think that's about all I want to talk about. I'm glad I'll share that because I think you should read it, process it, and get behind, if you're in America, writing to your congressman and telling them we need to reject old school republicanism. We need to get behind this new thing, this working class movement. Patriotic, centrist, socially liberal, pro-America republicanism. Get rid of the fucking swamp. Get rid of the Baptists who want to shun me for gambling or boozing or occasionally visiting a crack den with a few prostitutes. I'm not interested in any of that shit. I want patriotic, centrism, free markets, booyah. It's a winner, and if they've got any sense, they'll fucking do it. Right? Once again, thanks to everyone who's gave me booze. I massively appreciate it. I will drink, as I put in the description, drunk until the stars turn cold is my my aim. Never expected to get any shekels for doing this for a living, but for a hobby, should I say. But it is really appreciated, and if it motivates me to swear more frequently and make more videos, I guess it's a good thing. Thanks to everyone for sticking with me this far, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Oh yeah, don't forget to like. I never shill my channel very well, do I? Cheers. Get at least to 10k subscribers. What the fuck am I watching? You are watching the Angry Bootneck, you lucky, lucky woman. You have stumbled into a Garden of Eden amongst a swamp of ineptitude. Thanks, guys. I'm off. Take it easy. Toodle pip. And hi and bye, Lisa. Cheers, guys. See you later.